Okay, take two, just in case that other take actually lived online. Very, very strange. Hi, I'm Lauren Foster, and this is step two of of the 10 steps to higher self-esteem and greater happiness. We started off a couple of weeks ago. First of all, let me apologize for being late. I am within this work with you. All of the things that I'm suggesting for you to live a greater, freer, fuller, more abundant life, I am practicing myself, and I am coping with my own patterns. I too have a pattern or a self-esteem that kind of defines my life. And one of the things that I am looking to improve about myself is a tremendous tendency towards procrastination. And when I think about it, my oldest friends will remind me of back in high school. If there was a spelling test, I would show up and go, oh, there's a test. Take 2 minutes to read over the list and ace the test. And I was proud of that. And that may have been a time in my life when I developed this habit of showing up unprepared and doing great anyway and getting some sort of ego boost from that. I'm not exactly certain, but that has followed me into my adult life, and it manifests itself now in having made this promise to you and to myself that I would deliver this program at this time every week, no matter what, and yet still showing up unprepared. So I know the material, and I am writing the book, and it's all going to be okay, but my goal is to be even more prepared in the future and to deliver you an even greater product. So I hope that you are able to get some great insight from this, and that you will kind of stick with this. This little 12-week program that I'm doing for you is a $3,000 value. If I were to take you through this one-on-one, this 10 steps to higher self-esteem and greater happiness, it would cost you $3,000. So if this is your first time here, go back and look at weeks 1 and 2 and do the homework and get on board with us and really, really make this 12-week experiment with your life something that's important and see what happens. It's a great test. You have everything in the world to gain and nothing at all to lose, not even a penny. So join me. Do this. It's really, really awesome. So in our first week, I introduced myself to you a little bit, and we talked a little bit about what self-esteem is. And it's really just the mold or the pattern within which you see yourself and within which you see your potential. Your potential is infinite. My potential is infinite. We are the sons and daughters of God, and absolutely, completely connected with infinite intelligence and the creator of all. So there's zero limit to what we can do and have and be and create and give. The only limits come with the restrictions that we put on ourselves. And this is our self-esteem. So, and we can never outperform our self-esteem. So there's a reason that you've stayed about the same weight for years and years and years and years and been unable to get to a different, more optimal weight no matter how much you want to. There's a reason that you make the same amount of money. People make $50,000 a year, not because that's what they want to make, but because they don't know how to make $500,000 a year, and they don't know how to expand their self-esteem so that those patterns fit within that pattern that is your self-esteem. So that's what we're working on. Now, the bad news is you can't outperform your self-esteem. The good news is you can most definitely create a higher, more expansive, larger, more inclusive sense of yourself or self-esteem, and therefore create a green growing edge to grow into and build your happiness at the same time. The homework for week 1 was to make a list, to go back to when you were a child and look at all the things that you loved to do when you were a little kid, and then make a list of the things you like to do now and see what kind of overlap there is, if you carried some dreams from your childhood, or if you let the world take everything away from you. And then in week 2, we looked at figuring out of those things, what are the things that really make up your dream life, and how can you put those things back into your life and do the things that you would really like to do, and then begin building your vision of what you would really love your life to look like. What did you give up when you gave up your dreams and you gave up the habit of imagining and playing and play acting and pretending and trying on different futures? And so in week 2, your assignment was to write your real life Hollywood story. Project yourself 3 years into the future with a time machine or a magic wand or whatever imagery works for you, and write your story as if you were living it. The money that you want, the home you live in, the work that you do, the way you spend your time and your money and who you spend it with, and make that story really, really beautiful. And I went through the 5 elements of how that story should be, and you can find that in last week's lesson. And so this week, we're going to move on and we're going to have a look at that dream and we're going to test it. At this point, most people say, oh, well, I'm not really worthy of that dream. They ask the wrong question, am I worthy of that dream? When the real question is this dream worthy of me? You're going to trade your life for this dream. You're going to create a day today, and you're going to create a life. And if you're going to trade your life for this dream, it should be worthy of you. And so we're going to talk in just a little bit about how to test your dream to make sure that it is the right dream for you, that it is worthy of your time and your attention. I am unclear on how this works as far as who's joining and all that. So I'm just going to teach, and I'm going to refer to it at the end and see if there's something that needs my attention. So if you have a question, please feel free to type it in, and I will get to that at the end. And if there's even anybody here, I don't even know how to tell that. So there's a story that you may have heard me tell, or you may have heard my mentor, Mary Morrissey, tell. She really loves the story. But the way I read it, it was set right here in my part of the state, in Irwin, Tennessee, and was put into a book, actually, that wound up being the name of the book. But this old guy, he's about 90 years old, and he's on a stroll on a Sunday afternoon down an old country road, and he hears a little voice coming from a fence post nearby. He wanders over there to see what's going on, and he sees a little tree frog and picks it up, and the tree frog says, oh my gosh, I'm so grateful that you heard me and that you came over and picked me up. I am really a beautiful princess. My evil stepmother put me under a curse and put me in the body of this frog, but if you kiss me just once, then I will turn back into my beautiful princess self, and I will serve you the rest of my days. And the old man looked real carefully at the frog and considered her, and then he put her in his pocket and went on about his business. And he hears this voice coming from his pocket, Mister, you don't understand. And he pulls the little frog back out. She says, you don't get it. I'm an exotic woman. I am offering to do whatever you please for the rest of your life. All you have to do is just kiss me once and take me from this horrid, wretched toad form into my beautiful princess self. And the old guy pulls her up a little bit closer. She's puckered up, ready for a kiss. And he says, at my age, I'd really rather have a talking frog. And he puts her in his pocket and he goes on his way. And, it's a fun story, but it's a teaching story in that this old guy had his own image of how he wanted his life to be. He had his own image of what he wanted. Almost every man in the world would rather have an exotic princess than a talking frog. But this guy gave himself permission to say, well, you know what? I don't care what everybody else would do. This is what I would like. I would like to have a talking frog to entertain me and keep me company throughout my declining years. So that's what he chose. And I get to choose what my dream is. You get to choose what your dream is. No one gets to choose this for you, and nobody gets to say whether it's okay for you to have this dream. In fact, we don't even recommend that you share your dream with anyone as it's in its tiny, tiny little phase, because people will impose their own paradigms and their own patterns on you. If you have found the courage to dream big dreams and to imagine the impossible and imagine that you cannot fail and begin the most crucial part of dream building, which is coming up with the vision, and then you share it with somebody, they might just stomp on that little seedling of a dream, not out of any kind of maliciousness, but because they don't know any better either, because they don't understand their potential or your potential or how your life truly can evolve. So, make your vision and keep it to yourself. Nurture this little seed and create great soil for this great seed of a dream to grow in. And then just watch how the world around you will change when you are living your life according to this goal and this vision that you have set for yourself. So, all right, so we have come up with a dream and we have written it down, and we've written it in present tense, and we have put a lot of specificity into it and made sure that it's not written in negative words, but written only in positive words. And so now we have this dream, and we're going to test it to see if it's worthy of us. And I hope that you have something to write with, and I plan to remember to go back and type this into the notes, so that if you can take notes, that would be a great thing. So the number one question to ask yourself about your dream is, does this dream make me come alive? When I imagine myself being the person that is living this life that I have dreamed up for myself, does it just make me come alive and fill me with joy and happiness and excitement and life? And you really want to yes to this, because if it's not a dream that's just really lighting your fire and turning you completely on, then it's not big enough. It may be a worthy goal. It might be a fanciful wish, but if your real dream, you can see yourself in it and you love that feeling of aliveness that you get in that dream. And then the second question to ask yourself is, does my dream align with my core values? Now, this might not be something that you've thought about or that you know about, but you have things that on your very last day on this earth will have been important to you, that will have really mattered to you. And these are your core values. And if they're not coming to mind, spend some time with this. Spend some time evaluating what you really care about. You know, we see our friends on Facebook all the time, especially as we're getting older, reporting a prognosis. Oh my God, I just found out that I have this, this, and this, and I'm going to die. It's like, well, you know, you didn't know that. We are all going to die. We're only going to be here a short amount of time, no matter what, and no matter who we are. And so that last day is going to come. And how will you want to have lived your life? Do you want to be remembered? Or do you want to be forgotten? What kind of mark do you want to leave on the world? Or do you just want to live the same year? And it's completely up to you. You get to choose whether you want to make the effort, take the steps, get in your green growing edge, contribute to your own expansion and the expansion of the universe, and do great things, build great things, or not. You can live 90 years, or you can live the same year 90 times. It's completely your choice. I hope that you choose to live an abundant life for 90 years. So, does the dream make you come alive? Does the dream align with your core values? Because your real dream, your real connection with your highest self, with God, will never, ever ask you to compromise your values or to compromise your integrity. And the third question in the 5-point test is, I so apologize, I usually turn that off before. Does it make me come alive? Does it align with my core values? Will I experience growth in the process of creating this dream life for myself? The universe is very interested in your growth and your expansion. And if you are going to emerge on the other side of building your dream, the same person that you are today, there was no growth in there. So therefore, your dream is not big enough. If you think your dream is to have a beautifully organized garage or closet, that's not going to really require you to grow. That's a worthy goal, and we should all have nice, neat garages and closets. But your dream is bigger. Your dream will require that you grow in the process. And then the fourth question is, do I require help from a higher power? This sounds almost the same as the third, but does it require me to grow? But if you know everything that you need to know right now in order to live out this dream that you've created for yourself, then again, the dream is not big enough. We all have access to infinite intelligence. I have an analogy that I was taught for this, that we're very lucky that we live when we live, that this analogy exists. But the infinite intelligence, picture your computer. So your desktop, all of the things that you can see and type on and play and move around with, that's like your conscious mind that's doing things and getting things done and making things happen consciously. And then deep inside your computer, there are files and subfolders and processes that are going on that you don't ever see, that you don't really know what's causing those to happen, but they are, and they're showing up every day and they're making your computer work the way it's supposed to. That's a representation of your subconscious. And then you have the internet that is connected to everything and to every answer that there ever was. Even bigger than the internet. Mary Morrissey calls it the infinite. So we're connected to the infinite, or the internet. So, and this is where ideas come from, people. Where do you think the first guy that the Wright brothers, when they decided to figure out how we could fly, where do you think those ideas come from? They come from infinite intelligence. And ideas are the currency of the universe. And when you are connected and tuned in and tapped into that infinite intelligence, you get the answers to your questions, and then your next goal is to ask the right questions. So I digress. So back to testing your dream. Do you need help from a higher power? Do you need to tap into this infinite intelligence, this infinite wisdom, in order to bring your dream about? And then number 5 is there good in this dream for others? The universe is interested in your expansion very, very much. And the infinite intelligence and the force that created your life, that created this world, loves you and wants you to expand, but it wants its own expansion too. It wants the expansion of the universe. And so your dream should add to the world as it stands. It should add to the lives of other people. And this can sometimes be tricky, especially for people who are seeking their soulmate. They want someone to be with. They want someone to share their lives with, and they can't see how this is a benefit to the world and a benefit to others. Well, believe me, it is. Every time that we see someone who is truly in love and truly a representation of true love and commitment, it is enriching to us, and it gives hope to the people who are seeking this and have not yet found it. So be careful that you don't toss your dream out too quickly if it doesn't seem as if there is good in it for others. So just to review the 5 steps. Number 1 is, does my dream make me feel alive? Does it align with my core values? Does it require me to grow? Does it require help from a higher power? And is there good in it for others? So, and now if your dream passes all of this test, that's awesome. Then we can get to work, and this is going to be like our project by which we're learning how to use these life tools that we're using to increase our self-esteem and improve our happiness and improve our results and start to live up to the infinite potential that we all have. Let's see. I have notes to make sure that I cover everything that I meant to cover. All right, and we're good. So, let's see. I am looking to see if there's questions. I don't think I see questions. No. All right. So your homework for this week is to put your dream that you created last week to this test and really give this a lot of thought. Make certain that this dream just feels really, really good to you and that you have written it in the way that we instructed you to write it in the second week and that it passes all of these tests. And then ask yourself, ask the question, how do you think the world would look if everyone understood this power? If everyone understood that life is happening through them, that they were not victims, that they were not relying on other people or circumstances or conditions for their happiness, if everybody knew what we are learning right now and was responsible for their own happiness and for the way that they were creating in the world, what would that look like? You know, use your imagination to just kind of put that on. And these a lot of the exercises that we do throughout this, their sole purpose is to get you imagining, to get you thinking, to get your brain exercised and the creative part of your brain that kind of in better shape. So that's what we have for this week. I am really grateful that you joined me, and I promise to be even more prepared next week, and that I would love to have your feedback. You can email me, lauren@behappyfirst.org, and let me know what you think. If you have questions that you want to ask in private, that's an awesome way to do that. If you want to schedule a free strategy session, I set aside time to do 4 or 5 of those every week, and I do those for free. That's a $250 value, but I do them for free, and you can go to timewithlauren.com. That's TIMEWITHLAUREN, just all spelled out, timewithlauren.com. And you can also do that on my website. But just go pick yourself a time, a half an hour time slot, and we'll get on the phone and shine a light on your life the way it is now, and the things that are your longings and your discontent, the things that you wish for more of, the things you wish for less of, and then take a look and a little bit of a dive into imagining the way you would love your life to be, and then look at that gap and see what kinds of steps we can take on the way to bridging the gap between where you are and where you want to be, and to get you into your grow zone. So until next week, I look forward to seeing you then. Do your homework, stay in touch with me, and remember that happiness is choice, and you get to choose in every single moment whether you're going to be happy or you're going to be sad. So choose happiness. Be happy first. See you next week. Namaste.